it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you my kitchen kind of clean out reorganization with the new year. Me, like a lot of people, are just really wanting to get into decluttering, organizing, getting rid of the things we don't need, cleaning the things that we do have, and just kind of getting everything fresh and ready for a new year. So today I'm going to be taking you through my kitchen, showing you befores and afters. There might not be too many like dramatic changes, but it feels a lot better to me. So I'm going to take you through, show you what my kitchen looked like before, through most of the cupboards, and then I'll show you a little bit of kind of what I was doing, the process of getting rid of things, and then at the end I'll go through and take you through a tour and showing you kind of how things have changed and what has stayed the same. I'm just going to show you some befores of what my cupboards look like before I really get into like deep cleaning and organizing them. I have started to move a few things around just so that I could fit some Christmas presents that I got. My cupboards definitely need to be seriously organized, and I haven't cleaned them in quite a while. So over here, this is where I have a lot of like my mixing bowls and I don't know, just like my everyday cooking kind of things. I keep my Pyrex pans here, mixing bowls, colanders. I have like my cheese graters back here. Up here at the top I have a rolling pin, my mandolin, a couple other like baking things that I just kind of randomly use sometimes. And then I have like my cheese shredder attachment for my KitchenAid. I have various like pie pans and baking tins up there. Here I have my liquid measuring cups, some different attachments, my immersion blender, my hand mixer. I have some funnels back there. Over here I have like my big glass Pyrex bowls, as well as like biscuit cutters, measuring cups, measuring spoons, my new pastry blender that I got for Christmas. Back there I have like another kind of measuring container utensil thing that I usually use for peanut butter. So this one mostly just needs to be tidied. It functions fairly well, so I probably won't make any major changes to here, but just mostly tidying, reorganizing, putting some like things together is what needs to happen there. Going down, I have this Lazy Susan cabinet over here. So it definitely needs to be cleaned. I have my toaster. Down here I used to have like my little kids like silverware and some cups for Lucy to get, because this was easy for her to access, but I recently moved all those into a different drawer. I have my, my food processor up here. Down here I have like my magic bullet. We just used that today, so the cut part of it isn't down here. I have my waffle iron down here. I have my Ninja blender right there, along with the base. And then, I also got two of these little Dash mini waffle makers for Christmas. So those are just kind of randomly shoved in there. Underneath my sink is mostly where I keep like cleaning products and towels. So I have this basket that I got a while ago that I really like. This just holds some dishcloths that I use, a cleaner, my garbage disposal cleaner, my microwave cleaner, toothbrush that I use to clean in like some magic erasers. And then I have this basket that holds like my dish towels in it and my drying mats. I have some cleaners, dishwasher pods. I recently just moved all my candles into this container so that they were easier to fit down here. And I got this hanging bar that has like my gloves and then a cleaning rag that I use. So that one probably doesn't need too much organization. Down here underneath my oven is where I keep all of my cookie sheets. Again, I just recently like kind of organized this, and this usually stays pretty well organized and clean, so I don't need to worry about that. So up above my microwave, these are cabinets that I don't access like all the time. Up there at the very tippy top, I have just some like to-go containers, foil pans for when I make freezer meals for people. Keep our lighters up there. Over here, I have like old formula containers that I have like plastic mason jar lids in, so that I can use, so I can easily store things in mason jars. And then one that has cookie cutters in it. This section of my cupboard, I recently cleaned out and moved to a different cupboard. And so in this open space, I put these super cubes that I recently got for Christmas, as well as our bread baskets, which were in a different spot. Over here, I keep my lids for my different Pyrex pans, because I use this pretty often. And then behind are some blue lids that go with those metal mixing bowls, as well as some dishes that I got from my grandma. And this section over here definitely needs to be tidied and reorganized so that things are more functional for me. And then over here, this cupboard works pretty well for me. So there probably won't be too much of like an overhaul, but mostly just tidying, decluttering, those kinds of things. Up here, we keep all of our mugs. Behind them are like extra glasses for when we have guests over. Over here is where I keep all the kids' water bottles, usually any like travel mugs, and then some cups usually go right here for the girls' smoothies. Down here, I have like a travel tumbler that I use pretty often, just plastic cups for when we have people over, and another glass cup back there that I like. Usually here, I have quite a few of these like little glass containers. I just recently chopped up a bunch of vegetables and like to put them, they're like perfect like snack size. So those are mostly in my fridge right now, holding fresh produce. Here is where I have a lot of like my glass food storage containers. My husband uses these for lunches, especially when he does salads. Again, we usually have more of these. They're just currently holding lunches right now or are dirty. Back here, I just have some little like mixing bowls that I like to use in a couple of different sizes. And then over here is where all the lids for these smaller cups go. The lids for the other glass containers are just in the far back behind everything. Over here, this is where all the bowls go. I used to have more bowls here that were the girls' bowls that they use. Over here now we just mostly have these ones for like snack bowls. And then all of their plates used to be right here, but again, I recently moved those. And then all of our plates are right here. Down here, these are like the only two drawers I have in my kitchen, like in my main cooking area. So I keep knives over here, hot pads, and then underneath I have a few of our cutting boards, like regular cutting boards that I use for things. And then my oven mitts go right here in the front. That drawer works pretty well, so I'm probably not going to do too much in there. Maybe just a little bit of decluttering. This drawer is where we keep our silverware. I definitely need to reorganize this. Like Isla doesn't use these baby spoons anymore. We hardly ever use these, so I could either find another spot for them or get rid of them altogether. And then back here, I have a little basket that holds some other like cooking things like bench scrapers, can opener, vegetable peeler, pizza cutter, just kind of random things. And then I have like an ice cream scoop and some other, again, random things I don't even know. And then all these straws down here drive me crazy. So I need to figure out a better solution for this. And then down below in this cupboard is where I keep my pots and pans. Sorry, the light is not very good. But I keep my frying pans down here. Up on the top, I don't know if you can see very well, I keep my smaller stock pots, or my smaller pots, my big pot. Over here, that red one is my Dutch oven. On top of that, I keep my bundt pan. And then this pile is always a disaster. I have like my griddle down on bottom. I have cooling racks, and then I have muffin tins on top of that. And I've tried like the vertical organizers, but they make my things too tall, and I can't change the height of these shelves, which is really annoying. Over here, I have like our giant cutting board is kind of standing up on its end. And then here in the middle, that gray thing is an electric knife that I got from my grandma that I haven't used yet. And then underneath that are my bread pans. So again, not too much needs to be decluttered out of here. I mostly just really want to focus on making this work better for me. This drawer over here is my junk drawer. This drawer used to have like lunch supplies in it, and I didn't really use it that often. So I took the things out of this drawer, the lunch things, and put them in a basket that I can just pull out when I need it. And then I changed this into the girls' like their drawer so that Lucy it's easier for her to be more self-sufficient. So she can help grab the silverware and the cups, which she could do before because I used to have those in a cupboard for her to access easier. But now she's starting to help unload the dishwasher more. And so I wanted to make sure that she could put her own plates and her bowls and like the divided plates away for her and Isla. So those all fit nicely in this drawer for her, which is nice. And then this cupboard down here, when we first moved in, we just put games in it because we didn't really have a better spot for it. But over the last year, we really cleaned out our closet that's under the stairs and had quite a bit of storage in there. So we were able to move all the games that were in here, which was a lot. And moved those over. So I did do this recently, just to kind of get things organized a little bit. So nothing will change in here. But this is just kind of what I was able to do. I was able to move some of my appliances out of my pantry because that's my next project, is to clean up my pantry and organize it. Because again, it's gotten to be a disaster. So I moved some of my appliances that I had in there just down here so they'd be easier to access. I moved my Nutri-Mill mixer to be out here. I use this a lot for breads. And I figured this was much easier to access. And lots of times when I use that, I also use my wheat grinder if I'm making like whole wheat bread. So I just wanted those things to be kind of together. This is easy to access. This one is kind of gets in the way of this. But if I'm going to be using my wheat grinder, I'm also going to be pulling out my mixer. So it's not that big of a deal. Behind that, I have the other accessories for my Nutri-Mill, like an ice cream maker, a waffle cone maker, as well as a basket with additional additional paddles and other tools that you can use with the mixer. Over here, I have my 8-quart crock pot. And then behind it, I'm going to be storing my 6-quart crock pot. I'm just currently using that right now. And then up on top, it's going to be hard to see, but that white basket has all our extra lunch boxes, as well as like the lunch containers. I don't use those super often, but when I take the girls to my mother-in-law's, when she watches them for me, if they're there over lunchtime, I'll just pack them a lunch. Or if I need to pack myself a lunch, those things are in there. And the next to it are all just kind of containers for when I take meals to people. I do that fairly often, quite a few times a year. And so I just like having a back stock of containers that I can give to them so they don't have to worry about washing them and bringing things back to me. So I have like old like deli containers from soups and just some other like to-go containers and glass jars and stuff that I just like to take stuff to them in. And then that gray basket right there used to be above my microwave. So in there just has a little bit more Tupperware with things that those are things that if I take to people, I'd like them to bring them back, but they're not in my regular rotation. So if they don't bring it back for a while, or if they never bring it back, it's not a big deal. So that's currently everything in my kitchen, and I'll show you kind of how I'm going through things and then what it looks like after. here in my kind of left-hand side cupboards, I was able to go through, wipe down the counters, or wipe down the shelves. Up on top, I got rid of a few like baking things. I moved some of the like frosting decoration things into my pantry where I keep like food coloring, because I usually use those things together. So I put all those things together. I kind of tidied out a couple of pans, cake pans up there that I don't need anymore. I made this shelf look a little bit nicer. I put my juicer back in the back. I moved my little quarter cup, 4 tablespoon liquid measure over here to be with the rest of them. I fixed this basket to hold my like small, like my beaters, my immersion blender, and those kinds of things. I just reorganized in here better. I made my funnels look nice. And I have my cheese grater way back there in the back and my hand mixer over here. I moved the other cheese grater that was in here. I moved that over to another cupboard where I freed up some space. Down here, things pretty much were the same. Pyrex bowls over here. Pyrex dishes over here. And then here in the middle, I kept my measuring spoons. The ones I reach for the most are these silicone, like multi kind of spoon. They're some of my favorites. They have like a tablespoon, a teaspoon, and then you flip it over and it's a 1/4 teaspoon and a 1/2 teaspoon. So I kept those there, and then I just moved my measuring cups to be on top of my biscuit cutter since I don't use those that often. And then back in the back, I have my pastry blender, and then I moved my 2 bench scrapers to be in here as well because I use these a lot with baking. So that's what that cupboard looks like. Okay, up here in my upper cabinets, I didn't really do anything to like the very, very tippy top, but I did move my Super Cube storage is going to be in here just because I use them fairly often, but they don't need to be, they're not like an everyday kind of thing. And then I have my bread baskets right here. I just kind of stuck them sideways so they'd fit better. And then here I have the lids to my Pyrex pans, and I use those pretty often. So I kept those there. And then behind I have the lids to my silver mixing bowls because I only use the lids for those occasionally. And then over here I have the vintage Pyrex from my grandma, as well as some other stoneware from her that, again, I don't use that often, but it is things that I do want to keep. So this was just kind of the best place for those to go. So that's what's there. And then over here in my right-handed cupboards, again, things look pretty much the same. I didn't declutter too many things from here because this was working very well. So up here at the top, I have mugs. Back behind them are like drinking glasses for when people come over. Over here is mostly water bottles and smoothie cups for my girls. Over here are just cups that I use sometimes. This empty space right here is for little glass containers. I just did some meal and produce prep, and so most of those are in the fridge right now holding fresh produce, but as those come out of the dishwasher, they'll just get stacked up right there. Same with these. I have a bunch more of these Snapware and Pyrex containers, but a lot of them are being used right now to hold things in the fridge. So those go there. And then over here, I moved things around a little bit. I keep these 2-cup glass containers in the front for my husband's lunches. He likes to do leftovers or salads in those. And then I kept these here that he likes to use to hold salad toppings for his lunches as well. And then I got this little basket that I put his like dressing containers and then the lids for some of those little plastic containers. And those just kind of go behind because he doesn't use those all the time, but he does use them frequently. So these little tiny Pyrex bowls, I use if I'm doing like spices or if we have dip or I don't know, all kinds of random things. So I just kind of move those over towards the middle because I don't use those a ton. So I move them towards the middle and in the back just so that they're still accessible, but I don't need to access them every day. So that's kind of how I organize those things. And then again, these 4-cup round Pyrex measuring or storage containers, I just move towards the middle because again, I don't use these super often. I reach for my rectangle ones a lot more. But these are kind of like my backups. And as you can see, I usually have 3 of them and 2 of them are in the fridge right now with leftovers. And then down here, bowls are pretty much the same. Little like plastic snack bowls go right here, but most of those are in the dishwasher right now. Over here, I moved my hand crank cheese grater. This used to store some of my kids' like plasticware, like plates and stuff, but I moved those so that they're more accessible to my daughters so they can be more independent. So I just moved this over here to free up a little bit of space in my other cupboard. And I do use this fairly often. And when I am using it, it's when I'm making dinner, which is when I'm also pulling out like plates or getting dishes for leftovers or things like that. So it's fine to be in here. And then here's just our stack of plates. And then down below, here's my silverware drawer. I did clean this out, but I don't think my camera was recording the whole time while I did it. But mostly what I did is I got rid of a bunch of straws that we don't need, a bunch of like plastic silverware that we don't need. I moved, this used to have baby spoons in it, but my daughter doesn't use baby spoons anymore. So I moved those into a container where I have a bunch of other like baby eating things. And I moved the little straws for my girls' smoothies I stuck in there so that they're easier to find and they're not as messy to find with like our bigger like tumbler and water bottle straws in here. Usually over here I have an ice cream scoop and my can opener, which needs to go back over here just so it's easier to grab. And then back in the back I took out my bench scrapers, and so back here has like these Oreo spoons that my husband likes. This I use to when I'm canning to get the cores out of pears. And then I have like my pizza cutter, an extra water bottle straw for my girls, and our vegetable peeler goes back there as well. This cupboard, again, didn't do much in here, just because it works really good for us, and everything that's in here are things that we use. So didn't do too much changing in there. This cupboard, I also haven't really done a ton with. I'm still trying to come up with a good storage solution for my muffin tins, cooling racks, and my griddle that are over here. So I didn't really do a ton just because I'm still trying to work and process and think about how I want this cupboard to actually look. And then same with down here. This cookie sheet drawer looks the same. Didn't change anything because it's working great. Over here, mostly what I did was I cleaned. And so I have my toaster up here. Down below I have my George Foreman grill, my husband's George Foreman grill. That used to live in our pantry, but I was able to kind of move some things around because I want to make more space in my pantry to put some more food storage and canning supplies. So I moved that in here so I could make some space for those things. Up here I have my food processor. Down here I have my small like magic bullet. I use this to do smoothies for me and the girls for lunches or breakfasts. And then up here I have our big blender, our Ninja. This is the one that my husband likes to use when he's making smoothies for everybody. And then down here I have my big waffle iron, and then I have 2 of these Dash waffle makers, which is really, just got those for Christmas and I really like them. They make really good size waffles for my girls, and I like having 2 because then I can go a little bit quicker when I'm making batches of waffles for them, and then I can freeze whatever's left so that we always have little waffles for them to eat, which is awesome. So that was my kitchen reorganization. It feels really nice to have a nicely cleaned and organized and kind of like deep cleaned kitchen. And I really like that things have kind of been the same in my kitchen since we moved in about 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago. And so I've been able to use this kitchen and kind of know the flow of things better. And so it was nice that I kind of already knew that and was able to make some changes to make this kitchen work even better for me and for my family moving forward. So thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to see more of this kind of content. Leave me a comment below if your kitchen has also a disaster and you have the declutter and reorganizing bug like I do. In the next week or so, I will be coming out with another pantry declutter and organize with me. Just like I put out, I think I did one this last fall, but it's a disaster in there and I want to make some bigger changes. So look out for that in the next couple of weeks. I'm also coming out with a few more cook with me and recipe videos, as well as, always the grocery hauls. So if you are interested in that kind of content, please make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss out on any videos that I'm posting. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.